Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel of Bethel Evangelical Free Church Hanley. I'm Pastor Gervais Charmley, and this is another church in Lancashire. This is the Church of St. John the Baptist, Arkholme. Now, St. John's stands within the precincts, and I suspect within the bailey of a Norman castle, a motte and bailey castle. And so it may have originated as a chapel to the castle. However, the oldest parts of the present building here date from about 1450, so the middle of the 15th century. It was a chapel until relatively recently, indeed, until 1866. It was a chapelry of Melling across the river. And so marriages and funerals took place at Melling rather than here. In 1866 it becomes a parish church. In 1897 it is restored to its present form. The church was restored also in 1788, and so it has a mixture of features of the 15th, 18th and 19th century. So we'll have a look around and see the salient features of this historic building. As usual, then, we start at the west end. The chancel, and certainly the east window, is 19th century, and it's to do with really making this look a bit more, at least in the eyes of the people behind it, appropriate to its status as a parish church rather than as a little chapel. Melling, but Arkholme rather is one of the thankful villages where none of the parishioners who marched away to war in the Great War, 1914-18, were killed. They all came home again, and there were 59 of them, so that's quite a large number, and it's led to the claim that this is the most thankful of the thankful villages of the First World War. One man from the village was killed in the Second World War, and so there's a little war memorial here. There are two fonts. There is the Victorian font here, and there is there the earlier 18th century font, rather elegant birdbath type. And here we have a stone recording the restoration in 1788, and we've got the names of the two men who were church wardens at the time. And so, proceeding eastwards, we have the Arkholme Charities, which some of the money is still there, and they use now largely to support the local school. The pulpit, again, 19th century, and a nice big organ here, organ chamber let into the side of the wall there. Up into the chancel, and we have here the 18th century communion rails, at least partly 18th century, that'll be from the 1788 restoration. Above the church, above the vestry door, we have the royal arms of Queen Victoria, and then Sedilia and Piscina, of course, Victorian. Here is, that's a carving of a hunting horn. There's a lot of hunting took place around here, of course. And then we look west, and there is the nave. You see there's a single aisle, in this case on the south side, and I suspect it's because of the location of the castle motte, meaning that they can't have a north side aisle. All the wall plaster has been taken off. That's how it goes sometimes. Here we have a 20th century window. We've got the Venerable Bede, the great historian, and St. Hilda of Whitby. And then nice candlestick there. I suspect those are originally holders for oil lamps. There's a bit of carving on the capital here. We've got this round thing that, and then we've got this. This may be some sort of figure. Hard to tell really. But there we have definitely, that's a hunting horn. And here there's a hunting horn there, and that's a sort of pointy thing. So that is the inside here. See, internal porch. Well, there is an external one as well. And so that is the inside here. This is the roll of honour. These are the 59 people, 59 men who went away to war, and they all came back, which is quite impressive, because so many in most villages, at least somebody died. So that's the inside here at Arkholme. So here we are outside at Arkholme. You can see behind me this nice long low chapel building, and we are here in the bailey of the castle. And as I speculated when I was inside, I had a proper look around the back, the motte is on the north side, and that's why the aisle unusually comes down on the south side, because you can't put the aisle on the north side. So here we are in the graveyard. As I noted, burials for Arkholme would have been until 1866 at Melling. So all the burials here are post 1866. It's a nice little village, and you can quite see what, first of all, the need for this church. Melling is across the river, and obviously rivers in the 18th century were, and in the Middle Ages, crossing was risky, but you could do it. However, it's still risky, particularly in the winter and in the spring when you get the spring rains and the floods. So you can quite see why they say, well, we want to use perhaps the castle chapel, and then build their own little chapel here after the castle had gone out of use, perhaps. So we'll have a look around and see what we can see, including, of course, the remains of the castle. And so here we go outside. You can see that nice little bell cot that covers at least one bell, and the bell is quite old, quite historic. As we come out here, you can see there is the castle mound. That is the motte, and it would have been a bit higher, of course, when it was built. There would have been a ditch separating it from the bailey, and of course it would have been crowned by some sort of structure, timber, of course, originally. I don't know if it was ever built in Rebellion, probably not. A lot of them weren't. And the reason it's here is to control a strategic crossing point on the River Lune. The River Lune is down here. Thought you might be able to see it, but you can't. But it's down there beyond these trees. So the castle is here as a fortification, and then we're in the bailey. This would have been where most of the accommodation would have been. There would have been a hall, a kitchen, and the tower would perhaps have had some accommodation for very high status people, but also, and primarily, it would have been a place of refuge, and also it's a place to shoot arrows at the people down trying to get across the river if they're not supposed to be doing it. So here's the church here. You can see it comes right up to the chancel, which I suspect has been extended in the 19th century. It comes up here all the way to by the motte. There's a vestry there. The motte, of course, is now overgrown, and there's no way for health and safety. I'm going to try and climb that thing. Of course, it's supposed to be difficult to get up, and you can quite see it is. And there would have been a timber palisade at the top. So that's the vestry. We won't go round the north side. Well, maybe we will, just to see what's around the north side. But I expect the answer is not a lot because of the earthworks of the castle. There we have the motte. Yes, you can see that the north side here is cut deeply into. They had to cut into the ground here to build the vestry, and that is why they would never have built an aisle on here. We can actually get round the north side, which surprises me slightly, in a pleasant way, of course. And so there's the castle mound behind us. So once we're at the corner here, this is something you quite often see: glacial erratics, these big boulders in the corner, and they'd be discovered and they're used to build up the foundation for the church. So that, and there you can see the motte, and yes, the rising ground. So you get all kinds of damp problems if you try to build an aisle into that. And there we have the foundation. That tells us that. And here you can see evidence that there may have been there was a west doorway at one point, perhaps. So that is St. John the Baptist, Arkholme. And so there you have it, St John's, Arkholme. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I've certainly enjoyed coming out here on this beautiful spring day to film this church for you. And may God bless you and keep you until next time.